Welcome to this edition of Market Mantra, in which we give you a complete update on the economic, business and stock market news of the day. I'm Arjun Chaudhary and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Manoj Pathak.
नमस्कार, मार्केट मंत्र के ताजा अंक में आपका स्वागत है। आधे घंटे के इस कार्यक्रम में हमेशा की तरह हम देश और दुनिया की चुनी हुई कारोबारी, आर्थिक और शेयर बाजार से संबंधित ताजा खबरों को लेकर हाजिर हैं। हमारे साथ खबरों पर चर्चा के लिए स्टूडियो में आमंत्रित हैं वरिष्ठ आर्थिक पत्रकार उदयन रे। उदयन, नमस्कार, कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है।
धन्यवाद मनोज।
आइए शुरुआत करते हैं अंग्रेजी में हेडलाइन से, जिसे लेकर मौजूद हैं अर्जुन चौधरी।
Domestic market snap 3 days of losing streak. Sensex surges 767 points. Nifty ends above 18,000 level. Retail inflation CPI rises 4.48% in October. Industrial production grows 3.1% in September. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 2 innovative customer-centric initiatives of the RBI. Says it will help retail investors.
घरेलू शेयर बाजार में पिछले 3 सत्रों से जारी गिरावट का सिलसिला थमा। चौतरफा लिवाली से सेंसेक्स 767 अंक कुचला, निफ्टी 18,000 से ऊपर हुआ बंद। देश में अक्टूबर महीने में उपभोक्ता मूल्य सूचकांक सीपीआई पर आधारित मुद्रास्फीति की दर बढ़कर 4.48% पर पहुंची। सितंबर में औद्योगिक उत्पादन 3.1% बढ़ा। और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक की 2 ग्राहक केंद्रित नवाचारों की शुरुआत की। कहा, इससे खुदरा निवेशकों को मिलेगी मदद। घरेलू शेयर बाजार में पिछले 3 सत्रों से जारी गिरावट का सिलसिला आज थम गया। वैश्विक शेयर बाजारों से सकारात्मक संकेत मिला और घरेलू बाजार में निवेशकों ने चौतरफा लिवाली की। बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सेंसेक्स कारोबार के अंत में 767 अंक यानी 1.3% की बढ़त लेकर 60,787 पर बंद हुआ। उधर नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का निफ्टी 229 अंक यानी 1.3% उछलकर 18,000 के स्तर से ऊपर उठता हुआ 18,103 दर्ज हुआ। छोटी और मझोली कंपनियों के शेयरों की लिवाली भी की गई। बीएसई मिड कैप इंडेक्स 0.6% लाभ में रहा। स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्स में 0.3% की वृद्धि हुई।
Snapping 3 days of a losing streak, domestic markets rose today on positive global cues. Sensex at the BSE surged 767 points, 1.3% to 60,787. Nifty at the NSE gained 229 points, 1.3% to close above the 18,000 level at 18,103. In the broader market at the BSE, the mid-cap index rose 0.6% and the small-cap index added 0.3%. In the Sensex pack, 25 stocks ended higher, while 5 stocks ended in the red. Among the gainers, Tech Mahindra jumped the highest at 4.1%, followed by HDFC at 3%. Infosys gained 2.7%. Airtel and Asian Paints rose nearly 2%. Among the losers, Bajaj Auto declined the most at 3%. Sectorally, on the BSE, all the indices ended in the green. The IT index was the biggest gainer, jumping 2%. Realty index surged 1.6%. Power index gained 1.4%. Energy and the capital goods indices advanced 1.3% each. Finance index rose 1%. Metal and oil and gas indices added 0.6% each. And auto and consumer durables indices were up 0.4% each.
नजर डालते हैं रुपए की स्थिति पर। अंतर बैंकिंग विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में $1 की तुलना में रुपया आज 8 पैसे मजबूत हुआ, 74.44 के स्तर पर पहुंच गया। उदयन, बाजार में 3 सत्रों की गिरावट के बाद आज अच्छी खासी तेजी, चौतरफा लिवाली दिख रही। क्या मुख्य कारण रहे?
देखिए, जैसा कि आपने खबरों में पढ़ा कि ग्लोबल क्यूज पॉजिटिव हैं। जो इन्फ्लेशन के मुद्रास्फीति के आंकड़े आते हैं अमेरिका में, उससे एक नर्वसनेस जागी थी और एक मार्केट में डाउनवर्ड मूवमेंट हुआ था। अब उस चीज को मार्केट ने अब्सॉर्ब कर लिया है और वो आगे की तरफ देखा है। तो वो जो एपिसोड था वो पीछे रह गया है और वो वापस, जो कई बार क्या होता है, मूवमेंट डाउनवर्ड एडजस्टमेंट में काफी ज्यादा हो जाता है, फिर उसकी एक एडजस्टमेंट, अपवर्ड एडजस्टमेंट होती है, जो कि आज हम देख रहे हैं।
What do you make of the metal indices, especially with news about inflation and supply disruptions, not just in India but also in the US for that matter? Do you see the valuations go up further? Because Tata Steel, for instance, went up significantly today. Do you expect the upward movement of the Sensex along with this index, the metal index, to go up next week?
Well, two things. Of course, when there's a all-around market up move, indices like metals, and then you'll have banking and financials. They tend to move up. But overall, if you look at the overall sort of a market, thanks to the kind of pressure China is facing, the real estate in China is facing, it's expected the overall it'll probably that will in the coming weeks and months will play an important role in steel demand. So what would be the net impact is to be seen. Of course, Indian producers who are supplying to India, and if there are disruptions, people are getting stuff from China, and there's some level of disruption or delay. That is something which will help Indian producers. And Indian producers, the market thinks that they will step in, and in terms of any disruption that happens from Chinese supplies, then that is something that might work. But it's probably too early to pencil a particular direction. Maybe it will be a net result of these factors.
आईटी सेक्टर में आज हम जबरदस्त तेजी देख रहे हैं, अच्छी खासी बढ़त हुई है 2% के आसपास. क्या यानी मुख्य कारण लग रहा है?
देखिए, एक तो अपबीट सेंटिमेंट है ओवरऑल. दूसरा, आपको जैसे अगर इंडिविजुअल स्टोरीज में अगर आप अच्छे सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑर्डर पाइपलाइन आपकी अच्छी हो रही है, आपकी हायरिंग, क्योंकि आप देख रहे हैं साथ साथ खबरें भी आ रही कि हायरिंग भी वहां पे ज्यादा होने वाली है, जिनके बारे में बातचीत हो रही है. तो ये एक बात जरूर है. जब एक निवेशक निवेश कर रहा है, वो चारों तरफ देखता है. आप देखेंगे कि रिजल्ट्स में जो ये पीछे रिजल्ट्स हैं, वहां पे इनपुट कॉस्ट, जहां मटेरियल कॉस्ट है, वो बढ़ने की वजह से प्रॉफिट मार्जिन में काफी असर पड़ा है कई कंपनियों में. तो अगर आप और मैं अगर निवेशक हैं एक ऐसी जगह जहां पे वो वाला फैक्टर काम नहीं कर रहा, इनपुट कॉस्ट के में जबरदस्त बढ़ोतरी या डिस्ट्रप्शन वहां पे प्ले नहीं कर रहा, वो वाला सेक्टर ऐसे माहौल में एक बेटर ऑल्टरनेटिव बन जाता है.
Let's move on to the Asian markets now, Manoj.
बिल्कुल, चलते हैं एशिया बाजार पर. एशिया बाजार में कुल मिलाकर आज तेजी दिखी है. इससे पहले अमेरिका में मुद्रास्फीति संबंधी जो आंकड़े आए, उनसे आंकड़ों का निवेशकों पर अनुकूल असर दिखा है. आज जापान का निक्केई 225 सूचकांक 1.1% लाभ में रहा. दक्षिण कोरिया के कोस्पी में 1.5% की वृद्धि हुई. चीन का शंघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स 0.2% ऊपर आ गया. हांगकांग का हेंग सेंग 0.3% बढ़ा. उधर बिकवाली के दबाव में सिंगापुर का स्ट्रेट्स टाइम्स इंडेक्स 0.3% घाटे में रहा. यूरोपीय बाजार की ओर चलें तो समाचार तैयार किए जाने तक मिला जुला रुख था. अंतर्दिवसीय कारोबार में लंदन का FTSE 100 0.3% नीचे चल रहा था, जबकि फ्रांस के CAC 40 में 0.2% की तेजी थी. जर्मनी का डैक्स भी 0.1% ऊपर कारोबार कर रहा था.
The U.S. inflation is cited as a reason behind what's happening in China, even though it is in the background of debt defaults of its major realty companies like Evergrande and other companies also. But is it linked to the trade exchanges between the U.S. and China, which has now come down, and China is being more difficult to deal with, not really exporting low-cost goods that the U.S. was enjoying earlier, and therefore the inflation was low?
Well, Arjun, I think that might be a factor, but the bigger factor is, Arjun, the pictures that you might have seen. Lots of ports, Los Angeles ports and all, they're completely clogged. There are ships with containers waiting to unload. So those are the kind of problems that are happening, and that is one of the triggers for inflation out there. In fact, like our Diwali sales, our festival sales, Christmas sales are very important for US. Now, retailers are apprehending that because of this supply chain issue, basically stuff is lying at your ports. There would be a certain issue. Their ports, incidentally, are now working 24 hours a day. Even then, they are not being able to clog. So what's happened is there's a lot of demand, but the supply is simply not being able to meet up.
So waiting for a short commercial break. So please stay tuned on Market Mantra.
बड़े भैया, इस कहावत को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि पानी यूं मत डाले जाओ, ऋतु देख के फसल उगाओ.
सिंपल है छोटे, कि अपने लक्ष्य को दिमाग में रख कर इन्वेस्ट करना सीखो. पैसा ऐसे ही मत लगाते जाओ.
ओ, तो ये बात है.
हाँ छोटे, अगर पढ़ाई के लिए या किसी की शादी के लिए जोड़ना है रुपया, तो उसी हिसाब से तो इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा ना भैया। बड़े भैया फटे।
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
Welcome back to Market Mantra, and in more news, this time from the US stock markets. In the US markets, the S&P 500 ended flat yesterday while the Nasdaq ended in positive territory in a subdued session. The day after, hotter than expected inflation reports dampened investor sentiment and halted a streak of record closing highs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 159 points, 0.4% to 35,921. The S&P 500 gained just 3 points to 4,649, and the Nasdaq Composite added 82 points, 0.5% to 15,704. Walt Disney falling in the wake of a disappointing earnings report dragged the Dow down. The bond market was closed in observance of Veterans Day and in the absence of economic data. With third quarter earnings season winding down, there were few catalysts to move the markets in either direction. Investors are favoring growth over value, and economically sensitive small caps and chips were outperforming the broader market. With consumer sentiment data expected and a string of retailers due to report quarterly earnings over the next few weeks, focus is shifting to consumer spending as the holiday shopping season approaches. How do you see consumer spending in the U.S. right now with income and employment there?
Well, at the moment it's okay. You're getting these reasonably okay inflation numbers. Recent numbers have been reasonably okay. But Arjun, the interesting thing is that about 5 million, which is 50 lakh people, they're still short. And the interesting part is these jobs are actually available. People are not taking them up. So, people are calling it, they're using the term the great resignation. Where people were were very comfortable with certain jobs in the past, pre-pandemic, and suddenly they are re-evaluating the options. They're looking at other things. Even for restaurants, in places like restaurants and other places with joining bonuses, that's unbelievable out there. Still people are short of manpower. So there is a certain challenge that the country is facing. They have got, thanks to all the social security payouts, and in other places people have had some pay hikes also.
But are they easing the immigration to that country? Visas, work permits, that's not happening in the US either, isn't it?
H-1B, there was some report today. I haven't got through with some great detail. I don't think there's going to be large-scale easing in that sense. They will probably want to absorb those people. They would want people to get back into action, and especially in the hospitality sector, whether it's restaurants. Restaurants is a huge business in the US, Arjun, and also leisure. So travel. So if they can get these people back, then consumer spending will move. But it's actually the US economy as well as our economy. They're all facing this supply-related issue. Auto sales, we have seen figures in October, where the challenge again has been supply chain issues. So this
is because consumers have benefited from social security and direct benefit transfer.
That's part of it. And then, of course, there's been a wealth effect. People who have invested in stocks in the US, there's a lot of people who have invested. They've got because of market up move, they have benefited. So there's a wealth effect out there. Money is there, but not enough goods or services.
So let's have a look at some macroeconomic data that has been released today. The country's index of industrial production, or IIP, decelerated to 3.1% in September. In August, industrial production had jumped 11.9%. IIP has maintained a significant growth from March 2021 onwards, aided by a continuing low base effect last year. Among the major sectors, the mining index in September gained 8.6%, while the manufacturing index rose 2.7%. Basic materials index advanced 5.4%. Electricity index inched up 0.9%. And in more news, India's retail inflation rate measured by the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, rose mildly in October to 4.48% year-on-year from 4.35% in September due to an uptick in food prices. The inflation was 7.61% in October last year. For the fourth month in a row, CPI has been below the RBI 6% margin. The RBI has projected the CPI inflation at 5.3% for 2021-2022. According to the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation data, inflation in the food basket rose to 0.85% in October compared to 0.68% in the preceding month. Oil and fat prices surged the most at 33.5%. Meat and fish index jumped 7.12%, while pulses and sugar rose 5.4%. So let's have a look at the IIP data right now. Why is it that on a month-on-month comparison, apart from the low base effect, it is at 3.1% for the month of September?
Well, one, of course, as we are continuously, repeating the supply chain and other sort of issues, that could be one of the reasons. Then also the question is, Arjun, the effect of the last year's situation has been pretty uneven, So, there are some sections of our population which have been affected much more than others. So the question is, which is the end user population segment for a particular company's products or services? Now, depending on that, you would actually scale up the demand and move in. So as things get back, people feel more confident, they keep going to offices open up, people have a stable sort of an income, people who didn't have, and people who are out of jobs, they get back into jobs, you will probably find a sort of a greater sort of a up move. But the fact that it's been a pretty uneven sort of impact. For instance, women sort of workers, women who are working, the initial estimates are that they probably got affected more than males. So when all these things get back a little bit more towards normalcy, you'll probably see things inching up, and people putting in also investments in capacity. That might also happen.
उदयन, खुदरा मुद्रास्फीति के आंकड़े क्या कह रहे हैं? यानी इसे हम संतोषजनक माने?
देखिए, 4.48 को एक संदर्भ में देखते हैं, ठीक है, ये तो ठीक है, अक्टूबर नवंबर वगैरह। अगर आप 10 सालाना एक फिगर लेते हैं, उसका आंकड़ा, तो मैंने कैलकुलेट किया, ये मेरे कुछ स्रोतों से, वो 6% है। अगर आप 10 साल में लें, हर साल 6% से वो बढ़ रहा है, तो उस हिसाब से तो नीचे है। और आरबीआई का भी जो एक टॉलरेंस लिमिट है, उसी के इर्द गिर्द दायरे में है, तो उस हिसाब से तो ये ठीक नजर आ रहा है। इनफैक्ट जिस हिसाब से तेल के दाम बढ़े थे, उस हिसाब से ये तो काफी संतोषजनक बन जाते हैं। पर सवाल यह है कि इसका इफेक्ट कहाँ पे क्या आ रहा है, डिसएग्रीगेटेड इम्पैक्ट क्या है, वो देखने की इसमें जरूरत है।
What about the impact of fuel prices on inflation, especially on food?
Yeah, that's what we are wondering. I mean, a person like me would wonder why we are not seeing the kind of impact that we should be seeing, because
agri production has gone up.
Yeah, absolutely. But interesting thing, Arjun, is some of the reports that are coming in are indicating that because of the second wave lockdowns, impact on agri income has been less than okay. It's not increased the way it should have. So therefore, the agri demand didn't go up in a way people had anticipated. Now, when on the demand side, if you are subdued a little bit, then there could be an impact on the inflation figures. But it's only a monthly sort of a figure. It probably needs more analysis.
We're heading for a short commercial break, so please tune on Market Mantra.
बड़े भैया, इस दोहे को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि बिना विचारे जो करे सो पास से पछताए, काम बिगाड़े आपनो जग में हो फंसाए।
सिंपल है छोटे, कि बिना विचार किए अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे तो बाद में पछताएंगे और लोग भागेंगे।
वो तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, लोगों की बातों में मत पड़िए, इन्वेस्टमेंट सोच समझ कर आज से ही करिए।
बड़े भैया,
अरे छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
Welcome back to Market Mantra, and in more news from the oil market now. Global crude oil prices fell today, wiping out gains from the previous session as the dollar continued to gain on bets the U.S. Central Bank will bring forward plans to raise rates to tame inflation. Brent crude oil futures dropped 86 cents to $82 a barrel. U.S. crude fell $1.08 to $80.51 a barrel. Both benchmark crude contracts are poised to end the week lower after sharp moves up and down, driven by soaring dollar and speculation on whether the Biden administration might release oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to cool prices. There are positive signs on the demand side, with air travel rapidly picking up, but tighter monetary and fiscal policy and the oncoming Northern Hemisphere winter will act as a dampener. The OPEC yesterday cut its world oil demand forecast for the fourth quarter by 330,000 barrels per day from last month's forecast, as high energy prices curb the recovery from COVID-19. OPEC Russian allies, together called OPEC Plus, agreed last week to stick to plans to add 400,000 barrels per day to the market each month. Oil prices, OPEC Plus should take a decision concretely. This is an interim decision they've taken right now, concretely in January. So between now and January, and with the onset of winter and climate change, how do you see oil prices heading in these 2 months, and will it go up after January?
Well, it will remain elevated. There's no doubt about it. And if you ask me, I'm not an oil expert, but the sense that I get is that when increased shale production is expected to come in somewhere around middle of next year. So unless either OPEC increases its supply, which obviously it's not planning to do, then you need that, which I call the joker in the pack. They will come in, and with new investments moving in there and new fracking sort of establishments happening, that's something that will come and fix the scene. Till then, we will have to undergo this pain.
आइए चलें सर्राफा बाजार। मल्टी कमोडिटी एक्सचेंज में दिसंबर में आपूर्ति वाले सोने का मूल्य आज 257 रुपए घटा 48,595 रुपए प्रति 10 ग्राम पर आया। चांदी 511 रुपए घटकर 66,454 रुपए प्रति किलो रह गई। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजारों में भी सोने का मूल्य थोड़ा सा कमजोर हुआ, $1,850 प्रति औंस पर आ गया। चांदी भी घटकर $25 प्रति औंस रह गई।
In more news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that two innovative customer-centric initiatives of the RBI, Retail Direct Scheme and the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, launched today, will expand the scope for investment in the country, and it will be easier and secure to access capital markets for the investors. He said, through Retail Direct Scheme, small investors have found easy and secure medium to invest in government securities. Similarly, through the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, One Nation, One Ombudsman has taken a shape in a true sense. He said, with this, each and every complaint of the bank customer will be resolved in time and without any kind of trouble. He said the biggest strength of a democracy is how strong, a sensitive, proactive a country is in grievance redressal system. The Prime Minister said that people are familiar with the major role the government securities market play in the country's development. He added that the country is striving towards making an advancement in physical and digital infrastructure. In addition to this, he said, small investor efforts and cooperation will be very useful in making an unprecedented investment.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने कहा है कि भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक ने साइबर धोखाधड़ी के मामलों को निपटाने में बड़े पैमाने पर आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का प्रयोग किया है। प्रधानमंत्री ने कोरोना काल के दौरान आरबीआई, वित्त मंत्रालय और अन्य वित्तीय संस्थाओं के कामकाज की सराहना भी की। प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक नियामक के रूप में अन्य वित्तीय संस्थानों के साथ नियमित रूप से बातचीत कर रहा है। उन्होंने कहा कि खुदरा प्रत्यक्ष योजना और एकीकृत बैंकिंग लोकपाल योजना का उद्देश्य आम लोगों को अधिक से अधिक सुविधा उपलब्ध कराना है। इस अवसर पर वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारामन ने कहा कि कोरोना महामारी के दौरान भारत सरकार और वित्त मंत्रालय ने संयुक्त रूप से लोगों की सुविधा संबंधी निर्णय किए हैं।
What's your comment on access to buying government securities by the common man? How do you see this actually shoring up revenue for the government in terms of its bond market?
Well, Arjun, in terms of access, it's a great thing to have. But let's not forget, you have small saving schemes, which are actually, their rates are linked with the government securities. So, they are lower risk, and they are more easily manageable in that sense. And the first port of call will continue to remain post office schemes. this facility that we are talking about are possibly for people who are a little more evolved, investors who have been investing for a little while, but yet they want to invest in low risk, comparatively lower risk investments, debt investments.
Let's have a look at some more news. The Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that FDI in India has been growing rapidly over the last few years. Virtually addressing the 4th edition of the India-Korea Business Partnership Forum in New Delhi, Mr. Goyal said India has today become an attractive and preferred destination for investments. He invited South Korean entrepreneurs to invest in new sectors like defense and retail. The minister said there is a need to complement the complementary strengths in automobiles, textiles, food processing, leather products, metals, mining, chemicals, and also through some of the traditional sectors like steel, and look at new emerging opportunities in defense, e-commerce and retail.
वाणिज्य और उद्योग मंत्री पीयूष गोयल ने कहा है कि उपलब्ध आंकड़ों और संकेतों से स्पष्ट है कि भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था पूरी तरह पटरी पर लौट आई है। नई दिल्ली में मीडिया को संबोधित करते हुए उन्होंने कहा कि वस्तु और सेवा कर संग्रह 1,30,000 करोड़ रुपए से ऊपर पहुंच गया है। साथ ही सर्विसेज सेक्टर का परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स इंडेक्स दशक के सर्वोच्च स्तर पर है। श्री गोयल ने कहा कि कोविड महामारी के दौरान इस बीमारी ने भारत को अगले 25 वर्ष के लिए तैयारी का बड़ा अवसर दिया। उन्होंने कहा कि लॉकडाउन ने महामारी से निपटने की क्षमता में तेजी से बढ़ाने का अवसर दिया है, जो किसी और देश के लिए संभव नहीं हो सका। आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के बारे में वाणिज्य और उद्योग मंत्री ने कहा कि आयात पर रोक लगाने का माध्यम नहीं, बल्कि सकारात्मक शक्ति के साथ पूरे विश्व से जोड़ने का मिशन है। ये एक ऐसा समग्र कार्यक्रम है जिसका लक्ष्य देश के 1 अरब 30 करोड़ लोगों का हित और भविष्य के लिए क्षमता निर्माण है।
Your comments on FDI investment in India, horizontal, vertical, and the export platform FDI. How do you see Korea and countries like that enter into partnerships and really reap the benefits of direct investment in the country?
Well, Arjun, not only do we need emphasis on high-tech sort of areas for FDI, even we should not ignore low-tech, because we have a huge population which is not really highly skilled. So while it's great to have high-tech sort of FDI coming in, whether it's defense, whether it's semiconductors, you will also need FDI in areas like garments, etc.
बस यहीं पर श्रोताओं की ओर से हम आपको उदयन बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे।
धन्यवाद।
And before we close, a reminder of the headlines. The domestic market snaps 3 days of losing streak. Sensex surges 767 points. Nifty ends above 18,000 level. Retail inflation CPI rises 4.48% in October. Industrial production grows 3.1% in September. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 2 innovative customer-centric initiatives of the RBI, says it will help retail investors. And that's it in this edition of Market Mantra for now. Goodbye. Market Mantra. Market Mantra.